Hello, everyone. I hope you're all ready to go. I am Annie Louey. I am going to be your host for tonight. Thank you so much to SPARK Deakin for inviting me back for another year of Demo Day 2020. Well, it's the first time we've done Demo Day 2020 last year, 2019, back at the Melbourne Museum when we could all spit in each other's faces and we had a great time. So before we kick off the night, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm presenting from today, the Boonwurrung and Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and a special mention goes out to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who might be attending with us tonight. And the traditional custodians of the land, after all, were the first innovators in this country, and it ties in so well with the celebrations we are about to begin tonight. So you are on the main stage of the Hop-In platform because SPARK Deakin are cutting edge. We're not Zooming because everybody has Zoom fatigue, but it's not Zoom, it's Hop-In. It's funky, it's fresh. We are not sick of it yet. It's a pretty good chant, I will say so myself. I'm here at my share house in North Melbourne, so I'd love for you to comment, and I'll run you through this. If you are able to see that on the stage, you can, so in the chat section, we will, oh yes, refresh anything. If you ever have issues, just click your refresh and hopefully that fixes it. But I'd love for you to comment and say where you are watching from. Bonus points if you know what it's called in the Indigenous language. So if you know how to say Melbourne, for example, it is Naarm. Oh, let me check my video settings. I should be still on. Okay, are we good? Sweet, okay. And no comments means everything is fine. Excellent. Fantastic. So there's also a polling function. So you might be able to see polls, and I'm going to put up a poll now. Well, Eleanor, our handy tech whiz, is going to pop up a poll now to ask you, is this your first time attending a SPARK Deakin event? So we've got a yes/no option there. Let me know. You can even personal message someone using the chat function where all the list of attendees are. So if you see somebody who's like, ooh, might slide into their DMs, go right ahead. We're going to have breakout rooms later as well and get a little bit with the teams. I don't know why we're so sexy all of a sudden. Maybe it's because we're all watching from our bedrooms. Maybe you are. And there's going to be an after party on Lemonade, which is one of the platforms that also is a startup. So hope you are keen for that. And you can update your display picture so that we can see all of your beautiful faces and know what you look like. I've updated mine, and yeah, so I think we're ready. If you want to comment anything at any time, like if you want to laugh, put a lol in the chat or a ha-ha, or my favorite is clap, clap, clap in caps. And so yeah, it's going to be a fun night. It's a night to celebrate the achievements and showcase what SPARK Deakin has been getting up to for the last 3 months. So these teams have gone through the Accelerator program. They've had some brilliant mentors, and those two people, Olga Hogan, specializes in investor relations and is an entrepreneur herself and an angel investor, which I had to Google, but it means somebody who has extra cash to splash, wants to help an early stage startup. So Lisa might be a good person to mingle with in the DM section. And each team will be presenting for about 4.5 minutes. And at 4.5 minutes, I will appear and make awkward eye contact or do some kind of dance to tell you your time is up. But we do have 5 teams, so they know to keep it brief. They've got some slides. I can't wait to hear what they've been up to. I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been up to in the last year as well and do some comedy for you. Hopefully you consider it comedy. Let me know by lolling or ha-haing. And we're on the socials too. I'm sure we are on multiple devices. So if you've got Twitter and Instagram stories, the hashtag is Deakin Startups and the handle is @SparkDeakin. Prizes. This is the exciting part. I know you're all here because you want a prize. There is a dinner for 2, a great night in Victoria only though. Sorry to anyone who commented and said that they're watching from elsewhere, but it is a Balinese cuisine delight from a Jungan, and it's a dinner for 2. Plus, I'm throwing in 2 tickets to my online show, which was cancelled for Comedy Festival, but we're back online, so you get pretty much dinner and a movie at home. Like, that is pretty good. And you're all winners already because you have won 200 well, you haven't won 200 face masks, but for the first 200 people, you get a face mask sent to your house. So after the event, if you've attended, we've got your addresses, we'll mail you one. And that is thank you to Floral Restrict. And you can follow them on Instagram as well. There's a link there where you can purchase one to gift to a friend if you're really digging the mask that you receive in the mail. And the random prizes, we've got some raffles, kind of just lucky dip kind of prizes. Sammytronics, which is one of the teams, is going to give a kit. You're going to find out more about that later. A surfing lesson in Torquay as well. And Lemonade Social is giving a cooking and baking event. More than one, there's multiple actually, with US Master Chefs and a Michelin star chef in Barcelona. So I hope you are pumped. Other than that, there's not a lot of housekeeping to do because you're at your own house. So grab yourself a drink. I've chosen a rosé over here. Get some food. I have chosen a crumpet, which is a very sad dinner time meal. I hope you're eating better than that. And the great thing is, you know, after this, you can go to your own kitchen. You can cry in your own bed, like I might right here. And now it is time to kick off. So get comfortable. You can use the loo at any time. I do not care, so I won't know about it. It is time for me to introduce the wonderful Daisy Mann, who is the program manager of SPARK Deakin, and she is a complete powerhouse. Like, I can be pretty energetic, but compared to this woman, I am but a... And she has travelled to Tanzania working on social impact projects. She was in Thailand as an Australian Youth Ambassador for Development, and she went to India simply to meditate. And this was all while she was completing her degree at Deakin. So I didn't even touch on the stuff she did after she graduated. So she'll be introducing the Deakin Vice Chancellor, who is Ian Martin, and also she'll be bringing an interview to you with Valerie Kaur after this. I'll tell you more once Daisy is done. Please welcome to the stage, clap, 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 Daisy Mann.
Oh, God. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
My
camera. I'm just going to welcome Deeds first. She's going to do a quick bit of housekeeping while I get my camera working as well. So bear with me. Please. You can jump on screen and tell people how to use Hop In and do your magic. That'd be fantastic.
Welcome to the stage. Hey.
Annie, this is fantastic. You're actually the best. We're so glad we got you back for a demo day once more.
Thanks. Thank you. No, it was a really awesome experience last year, and I can't believe, you decided to go with me again. Thanks.
100%. Everyone, just want to let you know, I am your event guide tonight. You can click on my face in the chat or under the list of people at any time. Slide into my DMs if you ever get stuck or have any questions about how to use Hopin. I'm your gal, happy to help.
Brilliant. How are you going, Daisy?
I am excellent. I've got my camera working. Deeds, you're good with housekeeping? You've done? Awesome. So if you have any issues, if something's not working, just refresh your browser. And as I've noticed now, it starts working. So welcome, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you join us tonight. It's our first ever virtual startup demo day. God, the times we live in. I'm really thrilled about this because behind the scenes, we've worked incredibly hard to make this experience the best virtual event you've been to all year, if I say so myself. So this year we actually chose startups when COVID had started. So we had to pick startups that could still operate during this time, but regardless, it's a difficult time to be starting a business or even to be growing a business. You know, most of the news that you look at, businesses are closing down. It is a really difficult time. Regardless of this, our founders have showed resilience. They've persevered, they've helped each other along the way, and they've found a way to solve the problems that they care about tackling, which is why they started their ventures. We've also got social enterprises this year that I'm really thrilled about because SPARK Deakin's mission has always been to find companies that care about all stakeholders. And on that note, I'm actually really excited. We have two phenomenal mini keynotes today, which we'll introduce later. But one, just to entice you a bit, is on revolutionary love for founders. It's by Valerie Kaur, who's from the US. And the other will be Ajay Bhatia, who's a director at Car Sales. Just one more note from me, and then I'll introduce you to our brilliant Vice Chancellor who's going to be doing a startup pitch. We have a brilliant after party. How do I know it's brilliant? Because I organized it. All last week, I spent organizing an after party. I think right now it's really hard. We're all kind of stuck at home, and we're all sad pandas. And if you're a sad panda like me, you kind of miss seeing people or mingling with people. So I've organized a dream after party that I would have liked to attend, and Casey and ours have helped. So the DJs Onwards late night are going to be there, but we have another comedian tuning in. We have a spoken word poet, and we also have a Melbourne Indian Australian sort of singer from Melbourne, Amrita Shakti. So I would now like to introduce our brilliant Vice Chancellor, Ian Martin. Now, Ian's going to be presenting today to you guys in the form of a startup pitch. So with no further ado, I will pass on to Ian.
Clap, clap, clap for Ian Martin, everybody.
If we get it, if it works. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
But you probably can't see me at the moment looking at this.
You've got a great voice though. So
that's all right. For some reason it says the camera's working, but it's not working. So we'll go without that and see where we go.
You can always try the refresh, the turn it off and turn it on again.
Yep, let's do that and see whether...
And in the chat, we've got some great comments about where you're tuning in from. We've got Paran, Greensboro, really far away. Who's the furthest, I reckon? Oh, nice salt lamp. Thanks, Deletta. I thought, it gives away a lot about my life, doesn't it? Yikes. Ooh, hello. Oh, we're back. Where are you?
And for having not worked and worked, it's now working.
Fabulous. Where are you tuning in from, may I ask?
I'm in Geelong.
Oh, that's pretty far. We do have someone from Sydney as well, but Geelong is pretty good too. You've got a taste of freedom down there.
We have just a little bit. Anyway, it's fantastic to be with you here this evening, and thank you so much to Daisy and the team for the invitation. Look, SPARK is central to Deakin. It plays a key role in driving innovation across the university. And as was said, I'm going to try and do this as a pitch. So this is not about a conventional way of thinking about what we're about as a university, but it's absolutely pivotally important to the place that innovation entrepreneurship plays in Deakin. We've got a unique capability as a university. We take a product that is free, weightless, transportable, comes from anywhere, driven by anything, but can completely change individuals' lives, communities, and indeed the world. And that's basically an idea. But an idea of and in itself doesn't really take you anywhere. What you need to take an idea is to turn that idea into something that delivers impact. And that's what Deakin does. It provides an environment where wonderful ideas from our students, from our staff, from our community can be taken and translated and turned into something that makes a real difference. Why bother? Well, just look at 2020. It's been the most incredible year in all the wrong reasons. We started with the bushfires, we've moved into COVID-19, and we're now seeing the consequences of both in terms of disruption to individuals' dreams and aspirations, damage to communities, all of the other consequences that have flown through. To take where we are now, rebuild, regrow, develop, shape, that's going to take a huge amount of effort and a huge amount of capability. And that is going to come to a very great extent from wonderful ideas that are turned into products, processes, policy, companies that will actually really help drive economic, social, and cultural rebuilding across our country. We're taking this opportunity to reshape and refresh what Deakin does and how we do it. We're going to concentrate on 5 key impact themes that really are going to take a framework for ideas and turn them into something incredible. Advancing social, cultural, and economic well-being, building safe, secure, and just communities, using smart technologies to support progress, enabling a sustainable world, and sitting underneath all of those, improving health and well-being. Why those themes? Well, they're all important to society. They all reflect the greatest and most urgent challenges we face in Victoria, in Australia, and indeed globally. And they align with the wonderful strengths and capabilities we've got across our university. They also give us a wonderful opportunity to extend and take our ideas as catalysts through strategic, local, national, and international partnerships to build real capability. As Deakin's Vice-Chancellor, I have a real opportunity to help work with you, with so many across the university, to take ideas and create impact. The impact we create and the differences we make in the world all come from those wonderful ideas. Those ideas define us as a university and they define our place in society. We're creators, we're innovators. We take those ideas and through a process of innovation and with the help of entrepreneurs, we turn them into things that make a real and wonderful difference out there. Education takes those ideas, empowers our students, gives them the chance to critically reflect and build their own capabilities. And as we look to the next 10 years, we're going to continue to harness the power of those ideas to make a real difference, to transform the way we live and think, to enhance social, cultural, economic, and environmental well-being of those around us and the communities around us. We do it not because we want to be successful, but because we want to make a difference. We want to drive progress, not just change, drive real progress. We do it through research, through innovation, and through education, delivering balanced excellence. SPARK is a fantastic attribute for Deakin. It's one of the mechanisms by which we take those ideas. It's absolutely wonderful. So over the next few years, we need to help create a coalition of advocates who are going to help us create the kind of ecosystem that enables us to translate as many ideas into impactful, progress-driving policies, processes, companies, products, whatever. They make a difference. Our success as a university will depend enormously on the networks and partnerships we create and the mutually beneficial value we produce. We're so glad that you're working with Deakin. You're so glad we're working and studying at Deakin. I'm so excited to hear more about the ideas and the innovations and the partnerships today. To everyone else who's not part of those teams, enjoy, take the opportunity to listen to the asks that others are putting forward and see how you can collectively play a role in creating as much impact as possible to really help in the transformation and redevelopment of our communities. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Ian Martin, and he is the Vice-Chancellor and a professor as well. And Vice-Chancellor is abbreviated to VC, which also stands for Venture Capital, which I've been told is hilarious. I don't actually know what venture capital really is. I think it involves like preliminary funding or something. But look, I need to Google that. I just learned what angel investor is. I do not have capacity in my brain right now. But I would love to welcome back Daisy, who has been lucky enough to pre-record an interview with the founder of the Revolutionary Love Project. And she's a civil rights activist. Valerie is an award-winning filmmaker, a lawyer, faith leader, TED speaker, and author. There's nothing that this woman cannot do. And she's talking all things entrepreneurship in conversation with our own Daisy Mann.
Oh, the video's playing now. I'm not meant to be here. I'm going to pop off and the video's going to play.
Valerie, it's such an honour to have you here as part of our SPARK Deakin Demo Day, which is a journey to celebrate the journey that our entrepreneurs have been on over the last 3 months, which has been a difficult one during COVID. Trying to build anything during COVID is difficult. Manufacturers have shut down, suppliers have stopped, especially in Melbourne, Victoria, where it's hard lockdown. Up until a few weeks ago, we weren't allowed to leave the house for more than an hour. It's the longest, apparently one of the longest lockdowns in the world. So our startups have persevered during this time and they've been growing their businesses. So for the entrepreneurs in the room and other aspiring entrepreneurs, I would love your perspective on, I guess, revolution that you talk about for founders.
Well, what I want to say first is that I am so pleased to be here with you all. The fact that you all have been creating and innovating in a time of this much distress, under this much pressure, when things are so dark and difficult, and you are our light. What you have been creating and imagining into being is ushering in the world that will come. And I believe that this moment that we are in the United States, in Australia, around the world, is a time of great transition. That one world is dying away and a new world is coming into being. And the choices that we're making now will determine that world to come. There's no going back. We know that. There's only stepping into what's new. And between the pandemic and the climate catastrophe that's upon us, I'm in California, where 5 million acres have been burned into the ground, including my childhood woods, right? Between the pandemic and the climate catastrophe and the reckoning around racial justice around the world, this is a time of massive upheaval. We are seeing the world as we know it fall away, and it's a time of ripe possibility for transformation and to usher in the world that could be. And so I believe that the role of innovators in this moment is to trust your imagination, is to embrace your imagination, and to summon the bravery to see what even we cannot. And you are the visionaries of that world to come. You are essential workers of the future. Like, we need you. We need you. We need you laboring. We need you rested. We need you safe. We need you healthy. We need you to create for us the world that could be. And my offering is that that world that can be, may it be a world where we see no stranger, where we honor and respect and value the dignity of every single person. Because the world that was, the world that we are seeing teetering, the world that's not going to last, is a world that's ordered by a hierarchy of human value, by caste or by class, by race or by gender. And that's caused the huge fractures of inequality that we're seeing that are not sustainable. And so if we have a chance to reimagine what might be, may it be a world where we're honoring the dignity and the wellness and the safety of every single one of us. That's your role.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. How do you think founders, how do they incorporate this into their day-to-day lives of building a business? There's so much going on, right?
It's so easy to fall into a sort of breathless, rapid response mode. You constantly have data points coming at you and needs coming at you, and you're having to respond out of that in order to survive, in order to get your project off the ground. But what we miss often when we're in that breathless state is the ability to create time and space to hold fast to our vision, to cultivate the vision, and then to remind ourselves of the vision and to grow it out. And this is where I believe that protecting spaces for imagining the world that could be, and your particular role in shaping that world that can be, that those spaces for imagination are essential. And so I want to read to you a small section of my book, 10 core teachings and practices around revolutionary love. And one of them is reimagine. The greatest social reformers in history did not only resist oppressors, they held up a vision of what the world ought to be. Nanak sang it, Muhammad led it, Jesus taught it, Buddha envisioned it, King dreamt it, Dorothy Day labored for it, Mandela lived it, Gandhi died for it, Grace Lee Boggs fought for it for 7 decades. They called for us not only to unseat bad actors, but to reimagine the institutions of power that order the world. Take any crisis and think about the problems that you are trying to solve with your companies and with your innovations. Take any crisis and notice its antecedents. In the United States, some of the same detention camps that hold immigrant children today once held Japanese Americans, and before that, indigenous people. The criminal justice system controls more Black people today than were enslaved in the year 1850. The military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower warned about in the 1950s has run a war on terror for so long that distant war has become a normal feature of American life. So the past keeps bleeding into the present. We keep resurrecting the same old institutions. Any social harm can be traced to institutions that produce it, authorize it, or otherwise profit from it. To undo the injustice, we have to imagine new institutions and step in to lead them. That's what you all are doing. And it becomes so easy to lose sight of your role in this larger moment in history. There are some institutions that can be reformed. There's some institutions that are obsolete and must be dismantled and reimagined. And there are yet some institutions that need to be cooked up anew. And so many of the entrepreneurs and the innovators today are working with the new, creating the alternative. And I just urge you to think about how what you are doing might strengthen the kinds of policies and cultural norms in that larger ecosystem of a beloved community where it values the flourishing of all of us. So protecting spaces for imagination, that's what I would say.
Protecting spaces for imagination. It's something we've held quite strongly at SPARK Deakin, as well as sort of founding, as well as supporting social entrepreneurs. Is we've always said we're dedicated to the outcome of our founders. It's, you know, they've got businesses and these vehicles, and they put on these hats as a founder today, right? But these are entities that they're building that will have enormous impact. But we're dedicated to their journey because, you know, the next chapter from now, as they graduate from this program, they've sort of been in this incubator, regular weekly calls, support, everything. And now they go out into the big wide world. Not to say they haven't been there before, but it's remembering that there is still community. What is on that note, how has community helped you as you build your projects out?
Oh, it's been everything. When I think about, so I guess you could call me a social innovator, a social entrepreneur. I created a project called the Yale Visual Law Project, teaching law students how to produce films to make them part of social justice campaigns. I also started Groundswell movement here in the United States. It's the country's largest multi-faith or online organizing community. And now the Revolutionary Love Project to inspire and equip people to fight for justice with love. And in each of these projects, I noticed that the people who helped me in the previous projects I've been working on are the same people who are with me and what I'm working on now. I mean, from college to grad school, when I was first innovating and experimenting, fast forward, 10, 20 years later, and those are the same midwives who are helping me innovate and produce what the world needs now and next. So the relationships that you have all formed in Deakin, in working with Deakin University, in this beautiful Accelerator program where you're coming to know each other and hold fast to each other, the one person, maybe the three people who have helped you the most, either your teammates or your mentors or professors. And my greatest advice to you is to invest in the time that it takes to hold fast to those relationships. Those will be the same foundational relationships that will help you in the next season of your innovation, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And we need you to last. Like, we want you to keep innovating us into the new world that's to come, right? And lasting, I think, comes from community, because community not only enables you to feel like the wind at your back, but it also makes the labor joyful. And isn't that the meaning of life? To labor for justice, to labor in service, but with joy.
Yeah. As an entrepreneur, it can be so difficult, I can imagine, to get caught up in the milestones, the KPIs, the goals, the growth, or just even the survival during this phase. How do we keep our business afloat? Do we have staff, or we have, these objectives? And we forget that exactly what you said, isn't that the meaning of life, to have joy as we go and we labor for this work we are doing, whether it's bringing a business to life or a social entrepreneur, or you're becoming a social entrepreneur. It's still, you're bringing this thing to life, and often you give and give so much to it, right? But I love what you talk about in the book, and also in your TED Talk, is about this idea of also loving oneself. And yes, I would love for you to talk a little bit about how we can practice that, and why is it important?
Oh, Daisy, it took me so long to learn this. I like the midwife says to breathe and to push. Like, that's how you labor to create new things, new life in the world. And all I did for the first part of my life as an activist was push and push and push and push, and I never took a breath. It took me a long time to learn that you don't have to grind your bones into the ground, that you don't have to make yourself suffer in order to serve, that your life has value, that we need you alive and we need you to last. And quite honestly, the most vibrant and imaginative work that has come out of my own heart, my own body, have come after those long periods of rest, breathing deeply. And we may not be able to take the week or the month to do that. And I can't now. And so I finally found a way to weave breath into my daily life. And when we weave breath, we let joy in. And I know it's dark. I know it's a dark time, everybody. Here in the United States today, we're reaching the grim milestone of losing 200,000 people from COVID. I mean, grief is all around us right now. Death is literally all around us right now. And we have very little leadership to help us with the grieving, let alone, you know, leadership to help us actually solve the pandemic. So the grief is also laced with rage. And so on the darkest days, when we've lost people in the community, when I've come home from the latest memorial, when we're still dealing with state violence and hate violence and authoritarian assaults, it feels like joy, letting joy in feels like the last thing that I can do. But I have a 5-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. And come 6 o'clock every night, they tug on my sleeve and they say, dance time, mommy. And no matter how dark or dreary or breathless the day is, we put on a song, you know, and it's like, baby, you're a firework. And in the beginning, I'm just so miserable. I'm just like, okay, I'm dancing. I don't want to dance. And then inevitably, my babies start laughing and jumping in my arms and they're squealing. And then I'm laughing and they're dancing and I'm dancing. It takes 2 minutes. But I'm finally could feel that breath land in my belly. And I can finally feel kind of energy rise up in me. I'm like, oh, this is joy. Even on the darkest days, even on the hardest days, it is still possible to let joy in. And I've come to believe that joy is what returns us to everything that is good and beautiful and worth fighting for. Joy is our greatest act of moral resistance. So yes, innovate. Yes, push hard. But the world needs you. It needs your imagination, needs your talent and your time more than ever. But don't forget to breathe and let joy in, because that's how you're going to be your best. And that's how we will all last together.
Exactly. And lasting is so important, because if you're burnt out after this phase of building and growing and building, and you feel so depleted, then how do you fulfill your mission, that, you know, why you created the company you created or the venture you created? What was the mission? And I think it does come back down to the why. Our founders often have a very strong why. That's why we selected them in our program with hundreds of applications this year. And, you know, we selected the founders who we felt had a really strong why and a really strong drive. Also, COVID did influence who we could and couldn't select. So there were industries that were just completely sort of demolished overnight, like tourism and things like this. But I think that having a strong why and then reminding yourself of it, but also, like what you said, taking rest, taking time for yourself is so important. And it sounds so fluffy sometimes. It sounds so fluffy. So just as we finish up, I guess the last question is, what are some just small practices that we can do together or alone to rest, to rejuvenate?
So because my babies are so small, I feel like I'm laboring like all hours. Like we've lost our childcare support during COVID, like what we had before, right? So, and my son is starting virtual kindergarten. So I was up 5:30 with the baby. I'll be, you know, as soon as we're done, I'll be putting dinner on the table. It's like laboring all the time. So I know it sounds ludicrous to say, you know, you might say, well, you can breathe, but I can't breathe. I'm telling you, if I can breathe, you can breathe too. And this is how. It's the seconds. It's the seconds of solitude, literally seconds. It's before I open the door, I'm going to look up to that blue sky. Finally, the sky is blue after so much smoke. I can look up and I can see a blue sky, and I can take this single deep breath and I can open the door and continue. Right before I begin work, it's the seconds of solitude. What do I need to focus on now and next? Audre Lorde, the great Black feminist, said, we can learn to mother ourselves, which means I believe that we can learn to midwife ourselves. When do we breathe? When do we push? Just for a moment, love. So I want to end by reading you one more piece from the book about what it means to summon our deepest wisdom. What does it look like to mother ourselves? I have finally learned to listen the way that I finally learned to love myself in a concrete way, not the fluffy way, the real way, is by summoning a kind of wise woman in me. You know, how can I mother myself the way that I mother my children so well? That takes discipline, it's demanding, it takes practice. Mm-hmm. And I've come to listen to that voice in me. And my offering is this. I believe that this is from the chapter called Transition and See No Stranger. I believe that deep wisdom resides within each of us. Some call this voice by different sacred names: Spirit, God, Jesus, Allah, Om, Buddha, Nature, Vaheguru. Others think of this voice as the intuition one hears when in a very calm state of mind. Whatever name we choose, listening to our deepest wisdom requires disciplined practice. The loudest voices in the world right now are the ones running on the energy of fear, criticism, and cruelty. The voices we spend the most time listening to in the world and inside our own minds shape the way we see, how we feel, and what we do. When I spend time listening to people who are speaking from their deepest wisdom, I can feel understanding, inspiration, and energy nourish the root of my own wisdom. But I must not lose myself at the feet of others. My most vigilant spiritual practice is finding the seconds of solitude to get quiet enough to hear the wise woman in me.
That is so beautiful.
Well, I think that was the end of that. And I feel like I was watching two stars like colliding, or a solar eclipse or something. I'm like, it's too bright. There's too much talent. I can't. I loved everything that she had to say. That was Valerie Kaur. And my favorite quote was, "It took me a long time to learn. You don't have to grind your bones into the ground. Your life has value. We need you alive, and we need you to last." And if I can give you one little tip for brightening up your day, I like to think of one funny thing that happened at the end of the day. I reflect, because funny things happen all the time. Self-laugh, then anything is possible. Thanks for laughing, Daisy. You didn't have to.
Thanks, Annie. Yeah, that was some beautiful words there from Valerie, and I think she's so touching. I'm about almost roughly halfway, no, quarter way through her book, See No Stranger. I highly recommend getting it. If you would like it, there's a wonderful independent bookstore we've got a partnership with. You can email us later, but it's just such a touching book. And it was really interesting. It was the first time I've ever read a memoir where I could feel my childhood. Because I've read lots of memoirs, but I never quite feel like, oh my God, that's an interesting life from an interesting perspective. But she grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm in Griffith, was on tractors with my brother and things like that. So I really related to her story, but her message is so important. And I think one of the things that I just want to emphasize is this idea of community. So today there are roughly 157 of you who have tuned in live. Thank you so much. So make the most of connecting with each other. We're going to have booths later, but also update your profile picture, add in your LinkedIn, and just genuinely connect with each other, because that's how beautiful things happen. You might find your co-founder tonight. You might find a startup and end up working with them, or you might get your new idea, or you might get the courage to work on your idea through a conversation with someone. And that's what's so important about connection and community. Like Valerie mentioned, a lot of her projects were people she had worked with previously coming on to the new projects. So those are some wonderful words with Valerie. I'd now like to introduce Ajay Bhatia. Ajay is the managing director of one of the managing directors at Car Sales, which is a unicorn. Some of you might be like, what is a unicorn? It is startup lingo for a company that is valued over $1 billion. Because that could only be a unicorn, right? And Ajay he's also a sponsor of the Stanford Digital Cities program, and he's an alumni of Harvard Business School. And he's just done a few cool things that we've all done them. But yeah, anyway, so I'll pass it on to Ajay.
Thanks, Daisy. You've just raised the expectations of everyone.
You're going to meet them, don't worry.
Thank you. So thanks for the opportunity, guys. And I guess I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit of my startup journey and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. So I might start with, look, I came to Australia in 1992, and I was an immigrant to Australia. So along the way, I learned a lot. I worked in Pizza Hut when I was 16, which is when I came here. And lots of learnings out of that job that I still feel helped me in my startup journey, working hard, whole lot, right? And then the most interesting part of my journey is about 15 years ago, I joined a company called Fairfax. Fairfax is one of largest company in Australia, 10,000 people working for Fairfax media company. Back then it was worth about $5 billion. I was on a really good gig. I was the product and technology director, earning lots of money, really comfortable lifestyle, good executive, all that sort of stuff. I used to live in Sydney. There was an opportunity that came along in a startup. The startup was called Car Sales. At that time, I was not 100% happy at Fairfax because I was feeling like I couldn't scratch my entrepreneurial itches. The amount of influence I had in the company was very little. I was a number in a large company. And so, I was looking for something different. I moved to Car Sales, which meant that I had to move from Sydney to Melbourne, which had its own issues. But I got told by some of the people who used to manage me back then, not my direct boss, but some of the people, that I was making a really bad decision. I was going from a company that was worth $5 billion, 10,000 people, the prestige of a media company, all of that, to this small company with, I don't know how many people, 30, 40, 50 people, worth not much at all. And that was the wrong decision, and that I would regret it, and I would be out of a job. And anyhow, I went to there and I did it. And what's really important is why I did it. I did it because I wanted to be in a company where my ideas got listened to. I wanted to be in a company where I had the influence to make a difference and to make an impact. I also felt that that being in a company that was purely digital, which Car Sales was at the time, suited the sort of person that I was. Back 15 years, Car Sales was 12 years ago. When I joined Car Sales 12 years ago, there were very few internet companies in Australia that were successful. So to go into a pure digital company wasn't looked down upon as the coolest thing that you ever did. Anyhow, I followed my heart. For the right reasons, I joined Car Sales. So when I joined Car Sales, I took a salary cut. I had to travel between Sydney and Melbourne every week. Used to come to Melbourne on Monday morning, went back to Sydney on Thursday evening. I paid for my own travel because at the time Car Sales couldn't afford to do it. So I went back financially significantly. My wife didn't want to move. She stayed in Sydney. So that made it hard. But there were a lot of sacrifices involved. Eventually, my wife did move to Melbourne, and that turned out to be a good decision. I love both Sydney and Melbourne, by the way. But the startup journey in Car Sales was super interesting. It's the journey from the company being worth $100, $200 million to now $5 billion. And that journey started at learning what makes a startup successful. Number one for me, absolute number one, it's the people. It was about who are you working with? Who are these great people that will go along with you on the journey? There's nothing more important than that. I'd say people over process, people over technology, people over anything else. It is the number one reason a startup is successful or unsuccessful, is the people that you go on the journey with. Second, for me, was the constant challenges and the pivots we had to make. So the kind of people we employed, they weren't the kind of people that possibly would be successful in a corporate environment. They were the kind of people who were able to react to a changing environment around them. And one of the things I'd say is coronavirus is a changing environment, and because Car Sales still has that entrepreneurial flair, we've been able to navigate that environment in a reasonably good way, because we still have those entrepreneurial people working for us. We still haven't lost our mojos, so to say. We're still an entrepreneurial company at heart. But the challenge I've found is I've been in the company for 12 years, and it's the constant reinvention of the company, but with the company, the constant reinvention of the people who've stayed that journey as well. Some companies, some startups, every 2 to 3 years change their executives. But there are other companies who retrain their executives every 2 to 3 years. And we are that sort of company who've been investing in ensuring that our executives stay on top of what is the latest and greatest, and we're constantly retraining our staff. Along the way, innovation's been really important for us. And one of the lessons I've learned is, as a startup company, you've got to concentrate on effectiveness over efficiency. You've got to be effective as a team. You've got to be effective as an executive. What does that mean? That means understanding your customer and the problem statement that you're solving really, really well. In our industry, we have Amazon competing with us. We have Facebook competing with us. We have every global company. We have News Limited competing with us. So how do you win against them? And for us, the winning formula was staying true to what we stand for, what we do. So I'd describe a News Limited or an Amazon or a Google in the context of selling cars as a mile wide and an inch deep. They do a lot of things, but nothing really well. What we are and what our mojo is, we are an inch wide and a mile deep, and that is why we can compete with the rest of the companies and the kinds of Amazons and the Googles, etc. The other thing I'd say is that entrepreneurial spirit, even when you get to the stage where the company is today, the $5 billion company, that should never disappear. Our founder used to say, I want to be a large company, but the way I want to describe it is I'm a large, small company rather than just a large company, because a large company is largely associated with bureaucracy and lots of process and so on. So one of the things that car sales has never lost is their hunger to innovate. This coronavirus environment that has just come through has really challenged us and really challenged the how we respond to this environment. And one of the things we've done is, for example, release products where you can buy cars sitting at home. Cars can get delivered to you. Test drives can be done from home. That sort of entrepreneurial spirit is so important. I'd like to end this with, I know I've got a minute left here. I'd like to end this with, there is no better opportunity for you as entrepreneurs, as budding entrepreneurs, than a crisis like coronavirus. What something like coronavirus does, it creates the need to change how we do business. That is the fundamental reason entrepreneurs exist, to change, to make businesses do things that have not been done before, either more productively or as something that is completely new. The opportunity around coronavirus with businesses such as e-commerce, businesses such as even with cars, we're discovering new business models. Things that you could have never done before, you can do now. There is no better opportunity for you to be an entrepreneur than it is right now in this environment, because of the amount of change that our economy is going through. And what I'd also say is it's critical for the Australian economy. It is critical to create jobs. I hope that entrepreneurship is not something you do because you can't find another job. It is something you do because you choose to do it. It is the right time to do it. And I hope lots of you choose to be entrepreneurs and create plenty of jobs here in Australia and overseas. So it's 10 minutes, Daisy. So
wonderful. Thank you so much, RJ. Thank you. Clap, clap, clap. And wow, I'm learning a lot. My glossary is growing. I've got angel investor, venture capital, innovative unicorns, of which we just heard from one. And in my notes, it says that RJ is a cool, inspiring guy. So I hope that you feel the same and you were inspired because there's so much more to come. We are about to launch into the comedy, I suppose, but also, first of all, I'd like to reiterate with the socials. So if you are going to be using the hashtags, make sure that we posted it into the stage section. So if you're not sure what they are, you can just revisit it there. We might need to pin it. So it's at SPARK Deakin or hashtag Deakin Startups. And yeah, we're all over the Twitter. My phone's blowing up. Instagram. If you post, that means that you're eligible to win one of the major prizes, which is a dinner. And also I'm throwing in some free passes to my online show as well. And if you comment, then you are in the running to win some of those other prizes, like the surfing lessons, the cooking classes, and everyone's getting a face mask already. But if you want to be eligible to win any of those other kind of lucky dip prizes, just comment. Even if you've clapped at some point, we have recorded your response. So do not worry about that. You are all in the running. So I am super excited. Thank you to all of the guests who have already spoken. And yeah, if you've just joined us, this is the Accelerator Demo Day 2020. We're celebrating 5 teams who have been through 3 months of hard work, training, mentorship as well, and they're going to be showing off what they've been doing and all of their fantastic achievements. So before we get on to that, I would love to talk a little bit about what I've been doing recently. And RJ touched on the coronavirus situation. I don't want to get too bogged down in it, but I will show you what happened to me and the comedy scene. So back in March, we were supposed to have the comedy festival. So I will... I mean, it makes me sad thinking about it, but I went and ordered my costume, and it arrived the same day that I found out the entire festival was cancelled, and I'd already printed 2,000 flyers and about 1,000 posters because I thought, yeah, let's go all out on the marketing. And I had also gotten a great deal online that was like, buy 1,000, get 1,000. So here I am finding out the show was no more, and I had no idea what to do with all of this collateral. So if you want an autographed poster, shoot me your address. I am legit gonna send you one. I also found another way to use them. I pimped my Toyota Echo. So there's always ways to get creative in lockdown. These photos are also on my Instagram if you want to check me out at Annie Louey. My mum saw the show that I did put online. After all, the City of Melbourne gave me a grant, so that was fantastic. But my mum's only feedback was, why do you always wear the same shirt? And to that I said, Mum, it's just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. That's from a gig last year. I don't know why I look like I was performing in a haunted house. This is really nice though. This is a much better gig, being in my room for you tonight. And I sent my mum this pic just to piss her off. I have other shirts, Mum. Not sure if she's logged into the Deakin Accelerator event today, but she's always supportive in all honesty, so that's good. I do have an interesting working from home situation though. I'm really keen to get back to my studio because this is what I'm dealing with. I work on an ironing board, no joke. Very convenient if you need to iron something while you do a presentation though. I found some other working from home setups that are very intriguing. This is a friend of a friend who uses a plank of wood. Very useful. I mean, that's all you need, really. That is fantastic. Like, seriously, people said they work on their like kitchen bench or kitchen sink, but this really tops it for me. And I am living in a share house, and I wanted to raise something that I discovered about a housemate of mine. He eats all brand. I had to pack all of his stuff because he was moving over to Adelaide, and I was like, what the hell? Like, if you are under 40, if you're a young person who eats all brand, there is like something wrong with you. I think you're a psychopath. Like, do you notice that the packaging actually says with added bran? Like, it's already all brand. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have more than 100%. Like, that honestly does not make mathematical sense. And I know that you will vibe with this because you're all really on top of it and smart people. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I might be too smart for this world. I live in a share house though. I am living with 3 other people, and one of them actually plays the bagpipes, and I find that not great because he's actually really talented, and I was hoping that I would get some comedy material from it. So the better he is at the bagpipes, the worse my comedy is. But I do have a backup plan because I've recently been learning the recorder, and I surprised my friend this week with one of the songs that I've learned, and see if you can recognize it. Maybe you can comment in the chat. Yep, great. Thanks, everybody got it. I think that's enough. Beautiful. I know, it's making a comeback, like $15 and you'll have comedy for life. We want more. Holy crap, the chat's blown up. But as they say, you know, you want to leave the people wanting more. So that is exactly what I am going to be doing. Maybe in the time when the startups are presenting, I'll quickly have a look at what else I can play. Anyway, I will get on with the actual pitches, but not before I tell you a little bit about the new job that I've gotten. So it's a little bit somber, but I think it's a smart career move. I've actually started working in funerals as of January. It was before this whole thing went down. I studied at TAFE. I went back and did a Cert 4, and I did a certificate of celebrancy. I know it sounds a lot like celibacy. Look, nobody's boning right now, so I guess I'm qualified in that as well. But I do work for a family friend's funeral company, and I guess I was pretty shocked, like this career change. I wanted to do weddings and funerals, get a bit of work experience. I'm working as a casual funeral assistant, and the first time I saw an Asian woman in the coffin, I was like really confronted, because I was like, oh my God, you know what they say? Asian don't raisin. I was like, it's so true. Like, damn, she looks so good. Like, Asian don't raisin even when you're dead. I was like so excited. I'm like, I have bonus years. Like, I do stand-up comedy. I should not look this good. You know what I mean? Like, I go out drinking every night. Like, oh boy. Like, I would have used to be partying. It was good for me, but I feel sorry for some people out there, you know. RIP people. I also feel like the best career move for me would be to work my way up until I apply for a job at White Lady Funerals, and then I confuse the hell out of everybody. I'll tell you one last thing, one really embarrassing story. So I was told I needed to go pick up a priest the other week, and it was a Hindu priest, and I'd spoken to him on the phone. He was like, oh, I need 10 minutes. I got to pack up my things. So I was in the car waiting for him, and I saw a brown man coming towards me, towards the car, and I smiled at him. I was really like excited. It's my first time like driving a priest around in my car. We're going to do this funeral. It's going to be a great day. I was beaming. He walked past. Wasn't him. I actually haven't slept since. It's been like 2 weeks. I'm so embarrassed. Anyway, I just thought I'd get that off my chest. I haven't told anyone yet, so thank you for that. I'm going to let you kick off now. We're going to watch some of the pitches. So what happens now is there's 4.5 minutes for each team to present, and I'm super excited because the first team, Joel and Jamal, they are definitely going to kill it, because this is something that is very close to my heart, the topic that they are going to be chatting about. And first of all, I'd like to share I'm going to share a meme with you at the end that sums up the group. So each group will have a meme that Olga has lovingly curated for them. They're custom made, and we can all have a bit of a giggle after that. So thank you for commenting. I'll have to go back and read all of the chat now, but if you are ready to come on in, One Love Australia, talking about racial literacy education. When you're ready, Joel and Jamal, kick it off.
All right. Thanks, Annie. Awesome to be here tonight. So good evening. We're Joel and Jamal. We're from One Love Australia, and we are building an educational movement to enable teachers, community leaders, and parents to actively talk about racism to the younger generations throughout Australia. Our clients are schools, businesses, and national organisations.
There are many challenges with racism in Australia, but by far, the greatest challenge is people are afraid. They're afraid to talk about race and racism. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing. And as a result, we just avoid the conversation. And we get it. There's too much emotion when it comes to racism, but we're here to change that.
The solution to increasing people's confidence in talking about racism is conversation. It seems almost too simplistic to work. But as a society, we've really lost the ability to hold these meaningful conversations. And it's something that we know we desperately need back if we're going to put an end to racism. I suppose our difference as a business and what we're doing is being able to create ways that these conversations can be held in any context, creative ways, whether that's in the classroom, whether it's at home, or it's online.
Well, and generational change is not going to happen overnight. We all know that. But we got to start somewhere, right? And for us, that is Australia's younger generation. Our theory of change is we aim to inspire, educate, and empower young people to be able to do the change they want to see in the world when it comes to racism. We want to empower young people to be able to talk about racism.
So we do this through two main methods. The first is an educational model where we deliver racial literacy education to teachers and to students in schools. The second method is through engagement activations, working with organizations, businesses that we really want to make a stand and make a difference when it comes to racism.
Our education is based on empowerment and a train-the-trainer model. So we offer courses for teachers to help them deal with racist incidents in schools. And we also deliver racial literacy education for schools, where we allow the students to explore the language of race. Let me give you an example. So earlier this year, the ABC did a documentary about our work in school, and they featured Dipti, a 15-year-old student that graduated from one of our programs and went on to start her own anti-racism program in her school and her community. And guess what? Her program still runs till today, almost a year after graduation from our work or education.
And Jamal, that's something for me that is just, I never get sick of hearing that story and what Deepthi is up to, because it's real impact on the ground for us. On the activation side of things, we launched a campaign in July called Share the Platform, ran out across LinkedIn and Instagram. It was a series of race conversations between Australian startup founders and world business leaders. It featured influencers like marketing guru Seth Godin, ex-Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, and Mark Bouris. These are the kind of campaigns and activations that we'll continue building at a national level, all focused on learning through conversation.
So question is, how do we generate revenue? We do that through two ways. The first one is by selling online training courses for teachers. And so far, we have sold over 23 licenses since we launched, which was just 2 weeks ago. And the other way is by creating and managing campaigns for big organizations. These campaigns include ongoing educations and partnerships, and they can be delivered online or in person.
So right now, let's take it down a level. Right now, 1 in 3 school kids have experienced racism. That is over 1 million kids. 1 million kids in Australia. Now, if you were a teacher right now, do you think that you would be, feeling comfortable enough to talk to your class about it? Because the average teacher has about as much training as you to deal with it in their current situation. So you would probably feel like you need a strategy about it, and you would feel like, that's what you need to really go forward with it. And that is really what we are delivering through our education, that strategy.
Right. So if you're a teacher, just check out our courses. And if you're someone who's looking to empower your community, whether that's your school, your work, or a department within an organization, then reach out to us. We would love to have a chat about this and start a conversation. Thank you, everyone, and one love.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Where do I get one of those shirts, by the way, Joel? Do you sell them? You can comment in the chat. It's gone. I love the concept, though. After that last story that I told you, I feel like I might need some racial literacy education. So I'll definitely be checking that out. And one of the most exciting things about all of these startups is that they're already a product that exists. Like, it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. It's too late. Like, it's out there. Like, it's concrete. Like, that's what I love about it. So we're going to see a meme now that Olga has selected for them. And is it ready? Put it through via screen share. So this is their meme for One Love Australia. When you get Sept Gooden and Malcolm Turnbull to back your startup. So yes, that's really what happened. It trended all over the internet, and all of these people are already into this product. So if you want to know more, then make sure you bookmark them for your networking in the booths. So you've got 15 minutes after this to check them out and ask them any questions and maybe connect or invest or whatnot. And next we are going to be chatting to Zlachevsky, and this is their meme, if we can see that now. The team members are Philip Zlachevsky, James Randall, and Andreas Hendelmeyer, and they aim to be the first recycled carbon fiber surfboard manufacturer in the world. Give me that meme. When you receive 80 pre-orders for surfboards in one day, I assume this is a real thing that happened. Well done. I am so excited to hear more. When you're ready, Philip, James, Andreas, come on in. And they've got, the team has experience in aerospace engineering and organic chemistry. So that's definitely very exciting if you're ever at a party with them. It's like those made up careers. You know, I'm just going to claim that I do aerospace engineering and organic chemistry after this. Please give me enough info to get away with that. Oh, you're all in the same room. Do you all live together?
Me and Jimmy do, and Andy doesn't.
Oh, are we watching something illegal right now?
No.
Oh, great.
Mates, and then also in Geelong. So
yeah, regional peeps, living the life. All right, take it away. Your 4.5 minutes starts when you are ready.
Done. Thanks so much for that. And hello, everyone. We're Zlachevsky. So we're 2 aerospace engineers, like was mentioned, and 1 organic chemist. So this is Andy. Hey. And this is Jimmy. Hi. And I'm Dr. Philip Zlachevsky. So basically, not only are we aerospace engineers and chemists, but we've also done our PhDs in carbon fiber research. So you can kind of see where this is going. So what we've done together, just as mates, is we've decided, I suppose, haphazardly, to start the world's first recycled carbon fiber surfboard company. Living down on the coast, we thought, could we use the material that we use every day to create something fun that we could enjoy ourselves? And that's exactly what we did. But it wasn't just a little fun project that we started out of a shed for no reason. There's a few mechanical reasons for this as well. Firstly, carbon fiber is 20% lighter than the material that's used to currently make boards, which is glass. And on top of that, it can be up to 4 times stronger than what you use to create the material. So we wanted something lightweight, high performance, and it would be fun. But there's a reason why this material hasn't already taken over this sporting market, surfing, as it has in so many other industries. So we wanted to change that. We wanted to be the first carbon fiber surfboard company to ever really get it right. One reason it hasn't been done right is anyone that's ever created a carbon fiber surfboard has always made it too stiff. Myself and Andy have the engineering expertise working all over the world to solve this problem. Another thing is carbon fiber is prone to cracking and delaminating from a surfboard. So if you've ever surfed before, you can kind of know why you don't want that to happen. And with Jimmy's chemistry knowledge, we can solve that too. So those past problems that have stopped this didn't faze us. As the trio, what we really wanted to address was a waste problem that is never talked about in the media or around the world. And that is carbon fiber is extremely wasteful. Every year, 45,000 tons of the stuff gets thrown out. That's the equivalent mass of 4 Eiffel Towers worth of carbon fiber that goes into the ground every year. And in the next 4 years, that's going to increase by 20%. What's worse is Australia has no recycling ability for this material. So even though we consume a huge amount of it every year, there's no way to recycle it. So we want to address this. Because when a surfer becomes a surfer, it's almost like an obligation to be an environmentalist at the same time. This is true for 11-time world champion Kelly Slater, but it's also true for the next generation, the Groms that are on the beach right now. Because in a few years' time, they're going to need the pristine water that we enjoy right now. It's not fair to create an environment where we can't enjoy surfing for generations to come. So luckily, with the help of the SPARK program, which has been amazing for us, especially with media exposure, we were put on ABC News and televised, and that went viral around the world. We were broadcast and talked about in North America, South America, Asia, as well as Europe. So it's crazy to think, just like Rip Curl, we've got a little shed and it's grown its own legs where we're being talked about and people are interested in us all over the world. And that's what we want to do. We've got our roots in the Torquay community and we want to be the next Rip Curl, where our little shed can change the world. And with our recycled carbon fiber boards, that's what we want to do. But it's not only that we use recycled material in our boards. Another thing that makes us unique is that we are a zero landfill surfboard company. So when we build a board, if it ever breaks, we completely recycle that again. We recycle the foam, we recycle the carbon fiber, and we use it in the next generation of boards, because we all deserve a board that is zero landfill. So that's really us. We're Jug Surf. We're lighter and stronger than the competition. And on top of that, we flex exactly like you should in a surfboard. We're Australian made, we're locals, and we want to stay here forever because Australia is our community and there's no better surf than in Australia. We're aerospace grade. We have 3 PhDs working on this, and we're crack resistant. We're the only chemically altered carbon fiber in the world for the sporting market. So if you're looking to pre-order a surfboard, you can join the Jug Surf booth where Andy will be hosting. And if you think of other applications where a recycled carbon fiber might be used for your industry, not surfing, but in any other industry, join myself and Jimmy in the collaboration booth after. So thanks so much for listening and looking forward to hearing from you soon. And thanks again for attending.
Hey, thank you so much. I want friends who are that supportive, like just the two people nodding on either side. Like I want that kind of energy everywhere that I go. That was brilliant. I'm digging the comments as well. Everybody who is tuning in saying comments like, do I need to learn to swim before I surf? I'm in the same boat. Like I'd love to win those surfing lessons. Somebody please assess my likelihood of death, please. So we just had Philip, James, Andreas from Jug Surf. Jugsurf.com is the website. You can also check them out in the booths. And here, we've had the meme. That was funny. We're going to go over to Go Kindly now. The team members are David and Laura Conti, and this is their meme. If it's available now. Otherwise, we can do it at the end. Perhaps Eleanor is busy. I know that you are very busy at the moment. So maybe if we can get those team members ready.
Hey, Sammytronics up next.
So,
I told you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have the meme for Sammytronics? Here we are. Parents of kids on remote learning upon discovering Sammytronics. Bit of a crazed look in their eyes because this is going to solve a lot of problems in the STEM area anyway. So I'm very excited. Please come on in. Samuel, Alexander, Manjeev, Sukram, and Nicholas Patrick.
Awesome.
Great. I love it. Please take it away when you're ready.
Hey, thanks, Annie. Good evening, everyone. Manjeev and I are really excited that we get to sit here together online with everyone. What a weird time in history we're in right now. So our journey to be presenting here in Demo Day is not an overnight success, definitely. It started 6 years ago when I turned 14. My parents got me a birthday present that literally changed my life. A typical 14-year-old boy would ask for an Xbox, but I got a soldering iron instead. Awesome. I love it so much that every day after school, I would be making my own mini projects at home. And 2 years after getting the soldering iron, I have joined and won several research and robotics competitions. So people started asking me how to get started with STEM and coding the easiest way. And as you might be aware, STEM is becoming essential. A solid knowledge in STEM could be very beneficial in this digital era, even in non-STEM careers. But not everyone wants to hold a soldering iron or do programming all day. That is why STEM could be daunting sometimes. That is why we created the easiest way possible to learn STEM and coding. We want it to be fun to use, as well as relatable and can directly be applied to the real world. In other words, we are creating something that 14-year-old Sammy and Manjeev wish had existed 6 years ago. Our main product is a Sammytronics Nano. The device is equipped with lights, buttons, and a bunch of sensors. To use it, you simply plug the device to your computer, and then you can start dragging and dropping blocks of code instead of typing your program. Earlier this year, UNESCO recognizes and awarded us for our work, which aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals number 4 for quality of education. This means our vision aligns with them. We know that students learn best from an empowered teacher. So we have done training for teachers to integrate our product into their curriculum. We have also learned from their feedback, so we create the best tools for them to teach their students. And the most interesting part from this event was that non-STEM teachers also became interested to use our product, and this shows how easy our product is to use. We have also done pilot classes with students, and they love our product. Some students even made really creative projects that we never even thought of. Like there's this one student who really liked writing stories, and then he can use this Samitronics device and then change the plot of the story depending on the sensor values.
Sometimes in school, it is also very difficult to accommodate learning equipment for all students at the same time. And I personally experienced that when there were only 4 to 6 equipment for a class of 20, as every equipment were on a first come first serve basis. And because of that, I had to sacrifice some of my lunch to complete some of my lab practical. So basically, we are not trying to compete with other big STEM companies, but we're trying to put Samitronics in the same category as a textbook or stationery. So we want Samitronics kit to be available for all, which is why we are pricing it at $60 per unit, which is technically less than the price of a textbook. So I'm sure some of you might be interested to get the Samitronics kit. Well, right now, as well as the competition here on the SPARK platform, we also have the Draw Your Idea competition, which is eligible for the age of 13 to 18. So if you are a parent or a teacher, you want to share that, we'll drop a link for the competition in the chat box. So feel free to check it out. And thank you so much for your time. Please come to our booth after our session to have a quick chat. Thank you.
Yay, thank you, Sam. And man,
thank you, everyone.
Samuel is only 20 years old. Incredible stuff. And I love that he had the guts to name the whole thing after him. Like, yeah, this thing's good. Like Samitronics, it needs to be all about me and this product. So it all started when there were only 17, I hear in the chat comments, which is amazing. Head to samitronics.com if you want to know more. That's SAMYTRONIX. We are on to our penultimate pitch now for Accelerator Demo Day 2020, thanks to SPARK Deakin. If you've just joined us, I've popped a couple of things in the polls. If you'd like to weigh in, is this your first SPARK Deakin event? You can vote there, yay or nay, and keep on contributing to the chat because everyone who's commented goes into the lucky draw prizes. So those include the surf lessons and the cooking classes on Lemonade, which we're going to hear about after this. So keep on commenting, and if you post on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtags that are pinned to the chat, you get to go in the running for the major prizes of dinner and a show. So thanks very much. Let's keep on rolling. When you're ready to show your wonderful faces, go kindly. This is David and Laura Conti to talk about pillows, something I'm very passionate about as well. Welcome. This is their meme. When you get Gov and EDU backlinks, which this goes in the glossary as well. I only found out about it today, even though I used to work in web. So apparently David is obsessed with trying to get premium links on his website, like getting referred to by official websites so that you look more legit. And apparently I've got one because Deakin has posted my website on their website. So now I'm legit. So now I'm obsessed with backlinks, thanks to you, David. I can't wait to hear what Go Kindly is all about.
Thank you. Hi. So after 15 years as a finance professional, providing business advice to successful and high growth businesses, we felt jaded about the way profits were being used. We asked ourselves why profits weren't being used to drive and support social change. Hi, I'm Laura and I co-founded Go Kindly with my husband, David. At Go Kindly, we make pillows for you and provide a bed for a woman in need. On Christmas Day 2018, frustrated at the injustices and the lack of kindness we saw in the world, we sat down and wrote a list of values that we wanted to build in a brand and a business. And then we set about building a brand that is ethical, sustainable, and kind.
We wanted our business to have a purpose to exist. Inspired by Patagonia and other B Corp brands, we wanted to create goods which could be part of the solution to inequality in society. We wanted to help the most vulnerable, and we wanted to help people that were overlooked, the invisible women experiencing homelessness. Every day in Australia, 200 women are turned away from crisis services, and that's because there's not enough social housing or emergency accommodation. We believe that that is just unacceptable in a developed nation like ours. So we choose to support these services at Go Kindly. When we were looking for products, we searched high and low. We looked in the garden, we looked in the car, we looked in the house for everyday goods that could have extraordinary impact. We decided on pillows. And then we started the search to find the perfect Go Kindly pillow. Thinking we could only source pillows internationally, we started conversations with overseas manufacturers. But we couldn't get overseas, and that meant we couldn't do quality control or even check the conditions of the workplace. But after months of searching for an ethical supplier, Laura managed to find an amazing local supplier. She found a family business here in Melbourne. They've been making pillows for 50 years. Their prices were right, and best of all, the quality is fantastic. And today, when the delivery driver drops off the pillows, we talk about Frankie growing up and the good old days when our front bedroom was our first office.
We are obsessed about the quality of our pillows. David even has scales to weigh the pillows to check that they're just the right amount of filling. We're now pillow experts. Go Kindly donates 50% of our profits to women in need. For every 4 pillows, we can fund 1 night's accommodation for a woman experiencing homelessness. We've helped over 1,000 people sleep better at night and have funded 180 nights of accommodation for women in need. We've truly created a brand that makes the world better. This Christmas, we're launching a 2 for 200 campaign. We would like to hit 10,000 pillows sold to fund 2 weeks accommodation for the 200 women who'll be turned away from housing this Christmas season. So we urge you to get a pillow now and to give a bed to a woman in need. Join our Go Kindly community at gokindly.com.au and help us spread kindness in the world. Thank you.
Hooray! Thank you so much, Laura and David. That was fantastic. And the power of pillows is real because one time I made a few recommendations and it almost became a pyramid scheme for pillows. So I recommended a particular one from a department store, and next minute I'd actually, over my lifetime, I think I've sold like 12 just on verbal recommendations. So I think I'm going to switch and I'm going to tell people about Go Kindly, and then who knows what will happen next. So thank you so much. We have a final startup, and may I remind you, there's a lot of great comments about Sammytronics. There's a Sammytronics kit going away, being given away as well. So that's in the lucky draw prizes. So if you haven't commented already, if you're just hiding in the chat like a little mouse, like say peep now, even if it's a clap like everybody's been doing, you will go in the running to win. Super exciting. So finally we have Lemonade Social, and this is a very important pitch because that's where the after party is going to be. So get your rosés out for this one and your crumpets. Mine's still going. It's gone a little hard now. But we are more than halfway through the event. So come on in, Lemonade Social. Here is their meme. Eleanor, if you're ready to show us the meme. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hello.
And we've got ours as well. If there's no meme, you may explain the meme. What do you think was the meme that represented you, Lemonade?
We're not really sure. We didn't know about the whole meme thing happening at all.
Oh, it was a bit of a surprise. Okay,
Yeah.
well, maybe at the end of this presentation we'll get it up for you, but feel free to take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We're so excited to tell you about Lemonade, a platform intended to create happiness through experiences, communities, and connections. For 70 years, researchers at Harvard have been finding the answer to a very simple question. What makes a person happy? The study came to a surprising yet simple conclusion, and sorry folks, It's not about the money, social status, or the power you hold in society. More so, your relationships, social circle, and communities, wherein your relationships are not equivalent to the matches you have on Tinder or Bumble, and your circle and communities are not equivalent to the number of likes or followers you have. Hi, I'm Ars, and let me tell you how it all started. I met my co-founder, Casey, in China. Tired of meeting the same colleagues at the same place and same time over and over again, we discussed the possibility of a platform that truly connects people. With Chris convinced all the way in Amsterdam, and with the support of our excellent founding team around the world, we decided to give this thing a go. The first few experiences on Lemonade were hosted in Casey's living room in Barcelona, which turned into hundreds of living rooms across different regions around the world. Dinner parties, yoga sessions, music gigs, all kinds of experiences were being hosted on Lemonade. And then we were hit by the biggest lemon ever. COVID-19 silenced the entire $25 billion events industry, wherein creators and brands lost their primary source of income, and guests had the exact same reaction, as you can see on John Travolta's face. All of this led to a horrible user experience, wherein people had to use 3 different platforms to buy and sell tickets, products, and content. I'm going to let you guess the solution now. Lemonade is the only platform that allows for one to buy tickets, buy products, and watch content all at the same time, making it an awesome platform to find your tribe. So far, we've been able to connect around 14,000 people, out of which 1,000 plus are creators and 10 brands, for which we've been able to generate $60,000 in product sales, $160,000 in ticket sales, totaling in at about $220,000 in revenue. Lemonade has been able to help and support so many brands and creators out there, some of which have used the contributions they received on the platform to repay their loans, be able to pay their rent, and much more. Here's how you could help us. Join the SPARK Deakin after party. It's hosted on Lemonade. Do yourself a favor and join it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Connect us to brands or creators who could do with our support, and tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends that it's time to make lemonade. Thank you.
Love a strong ending. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. So the Lemonade after party is where it's at right after this, around 8 o'clock when we wrap up. And we are about to announce the winners shortly of the competitions. But first, let's see that meme that we've all been dying to have a look at. Here it is, the final meme, Lemonade Social smashing the hell out of loneliness with Beyonce. It's got all the elements needed for a great meme. Powerful stuff. Thank you so much. Are you ready, everybody, for the winners to be announced? So I'll quickly check that we are ready. Oh, after the booth, everybody. Sorry, we're going to keep you hanging. It's turning into like a commercial TV network over here. It's a cliffhanger. We're going to head in. So let me check on the timings first to see if we are on track. Okay, I was going to give you some more recorder if we were running short, but it looks like we're right on time, so I'm sorry. We're going to have to save that. Over to Deletta now to explain how the booths are going to work and to get you pumped. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Annie. Well, you guys have heard all the pitches. You actually have the opportunity to meet the teams in their booth. So if you look over to the left side of your screen, you'll see reception, stage, networking, and expo. The teams will be hanging out in the expo booths, and you guys are going to have the opportunity to meet with them directly. So Annie, I can invite you back on. I believe you've got your second skit, and then we'll send everyone off
sure thing.
In 10 minutes.
Okay, all right. If you want me to do more, that's fine. I want to address the poll first as well. Thanks for joining, everybody. We've got like 128 people watching still, and almost everybody has responded to say that 54%, yes, this is my first Spark Deakin event. 46% say no. So that's a great balance. If you enjoyed it, head over to Deakin's website, Spark Deakin specifically. Follow them on the socials at Spark Deakin. And I would like to know now, do you live in a share house? Because I did touch on that earlier. Now I've got some options for you there. Yes, now scarred. Never. I live with my cat. Currently living the broke uni student life in a share house, or my housemates gave birth to me, aka you live with your parents. So I'm keen to know, where's everybody at in their lives, because clearly I'm not famous enough to afford my own house yet. Diletta, I can hear you tapping away. I know you're taking notes on my comedy, but she's gone. Thank you. So I wanted to talk a bit about the Gumtree experience that I had recently, because I don't know if you've ever used Gumtree, but I tried to put some things up on there, 3 items, and it is really scary when you put something up for free. Like, they can smell blood in the water. A man was around at my house within 5 minutes to pick up a swivel chair, and they're so demanding. Like, when it's free, like he was like, oh, do you know if it's hard rubbish around here at the moment? And I'm like, I don't know. Does it look like I'm the guide to the neighborhood? Like, just take the chair and go. And another person started messaging me about a clothes rack, and she was like, can you deliver to Fitzroy, please? Otherwise, I will take it in my Corolla. And I'm like, I'm not doing delivery. It's free. Like, just take it. And then she didn't respond for a few hours. And I was like, sorry, the other items are gone. Do you still want the clothes rack? And then she replied, screaming, rack, with 4 Ks. And she goes, rack, I need. And that was it. And I was like, okay, you can pick it up tomorrow. And she said to me, can I pick it up now? It was 10:30 p.m. on a Sunday, so that's outside of curfew time. That was illegal, and I just responded, no, which I think is super rude, because I guess I'm just such a nice person most of the time. I'm like, oh, that is the most horrible thing I've ever done, but you know what? These people are on a different plane. They're on a different universe, and like, anything goes. Like, I feel like if I think about putting something online for free, like, I could just like blip it in my brain and somebody would go ding dong at my door going, yes, I'd like that rack, please. It's stressful. This lady did show up the next day, and I don't know if you've ever seen somebody's front thong before, but I could see her thong, and it was like the front of it because her pants were riding so low. Her boyfriend was smoking something funky, had a handful of teeth, not many, and he was like, can I have some of this rosemary? So that was the bush that was outside the front of my house. And at that point, I was just given up. I'm just like, take the rack, take the rosemary, take my soul. Like, I'm over it. So Gumtree experiences, I'm not a fan. I have been doing a lot of online shopping though, so I'm still waiting for that to arrive. But if anyone wants to, swing me some free stuff, I'll take it so that I can write more comedy material. Like, I'll give it away, but it's doing wonders for my jokes. So I'm pretty happy. Have you responded to the poll? I need to just quickly click any answer so that I can see the results. 16% yes, now scarred. 35% I live with my cat. 24% currently living the broke uni student life, and 24% live with your parents. So that's pretty good. You live with your cat. That's pretty awesome. Like, for all those bachelors and bachelorettes out there, respect to you. I don't know if you're actually cat people or you're just saying like you live alone. For me, the animal of choice that I would have is a pet bird, and I've been researching hard for an ISO pet bird. And I know it's a weird category of person that we're dealing with, because it's not a good ISO pet, because they live forever. Like, they will outlive you. They'll live into the next pandemic, which is scheduled for like 100 years time, according to science. And then on top of that, right after that, they'll still live like 5 more years. So not a great pet. But I am a bird person, and I have been spending a lot of time reflecting. And I think the weirdest people are horse people. I'm just going to be blunt about it. When somebody is a little bit off, like a little bit weird, and then you start talking and then they drop in, so I was visiting my horse the other day, and you're like, horse people. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching a bit more comedy. I've told you a lot about all of my life, so probably a bit too revealing, but hope you enjoyed it. Let's head on up to, oh, you got a dog, Mohit. That's amazing. Somebody just said 100%. Not really sure what you're 100%ing at. Gumtree is the worst. Thank you for agreeing with me. Good God in heaven. That's a good comment. I think the price needs to be closer to $5 for some of those things. I think it's true. You know, when you put a price on it, it just kind of whittles away some of those people, those oddballs. Somebody says, rack, need now. Sorry, it's gone, I'm afraid. Stealing the jokes, yeah, go ahead. I would love to see somebody perform my jokes or skits, as some people call it. I'd like to see you try, Daisy. That's not a threat. I genuinely think you would be very funny at comedy. So if you're ready, Diletta, come on in and tell us again how to access these wonderful booths.
Thank you, Annie. Love the jokes. All right, people. So we've got until 7:52. You've got about 10-15 minutes to hang out in the booths, or you can also check out the networking function that's a little bit like chat roulette, where you get matched with a random other attendee and you get to talk to them for 3 minutes. So I'm going to
naked though. Chat roulette, very naughty app.
Yeah, we have a code of conduct at Demo Day, and so that means your clothes must stay on. Thanks for the reminder, Annie.
I had to.
All right, well, off you go, people. Booths, networking, there is a booth for each startup. JuxSurf has 2 booths. They have one for surfboards and one for collaborations as well, in case you want to tap into the brilliant carbon fiber knowledge that they have in their team. So how to get there? If you look at the screen right now, there is a circle around the icon that says X. You want to go. So if you are still here, hit that button now. And you can actually speak face-to-face with the teams, and you do that by hitting the button that says share audio and video. Or if you're a bit shy, you can also talk to them through the chat. We'll be back here by 7:55 sharp, where we will announce the winners for the event and hear from Daisy Mann once more about the after party. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you at one of the booths or at networking.
I don't think there's a high note on a recorder. Anyway, hi everybody, we're back. How are we doing? I hope you enjoyed all the booth action. A really great way to connect with the teams. Daisy, what are you doing here?
I'm meant to be here, right? I'm meant to be on screen.
Yeah, you
can. Oh, good. Just
I mean, I'm flexible. I can go anyway.
I tried to tell some jokes in my booth. Nobody laughed yet, but they're landing flat.
We're working on it. I reckon you've got the spark, shall I say?
Yeah, I mean, did you catch my one my joke in the chat where I was like, I had one good one. It just came to me. It was that, did you see that I signed up to like improv classes and stand-up comedy, but now my life's a joke, and
good one.
Oh, thank you. Any clap?
To fix that, I would choose something that's not in the realm of comedy if I was to workshop that joke. You know what I mean? Like if I tried to sign up for comedy classes, I signed up for like pasta making, so now my life is joke. You see how it could work?
Yeah.
Folks. So I'm going to stop you all there. So we've got 4 minutes left on Hop In before we're going to jump on Lemonade for the after party. 2 things have to happen. We've got to announce the prize winners, and Daisy's got to say some thank yous. So which one do you want to do first? I'm flexible.
Prize winners, I reckon. Everyone's waiting for that.
Let's do it.
Are we on the slides? You want me to announce via my phone?
Eleanor's got slides, so
and
there we go.
Here we go. If your name is on this list, you've won a cooking experience with Barcelona-based Michelin star chef. Don't know how to pronounce that name, and I don't want to embarrass myself. So congratulations to all the winners. Surfing lesson with JuxSurf, Caleb Oswald, and Sammy Tronic's kit, that sick kit for all the STEM lovers out there. Again, well done, that person. Yay! Tickets to my show, Alicia Lanham. You get comps into my online show, Annie Louey's Big Break. Dinner for 2, Genevieve Alderman. Maybe you can connect and share dinner and the show, because I might have mixed the 2 up and said that you win that major prize. But you know what? Still good. So congratulations to all of our winners, and thanks for everyone who participated, because you all get a free mask delivered to you. Anything else, Diletta, on the winner side of things?
All daisies now. And then Annie, you can close up.
Amazing. Am I share screening my special slides, Deeds, or is Eleanor going to pop them up?
Eleanor's popping them up. Thanks,
Right.
Eleanor.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. This has been one of my most favorite ever virtual experiences, should I say so myself. And it is really thanks to a few people, and I need to do these thank yous. Someone asked me last week, it's like, what production company did you get in to do your online event? And I said to them, it was Diletta and Eleanor Co., which are my two team members who are both staff at Deakin and helping us out with this. And we've all been learning this for the first time. Oh, I'm losing my breath. We've been learning this for the first time, and they've worked so hard to bring this together, and we care so much about the experience you've had today. So I really hope you've enjoyed it. I also want to thank some other folks, if I could get my next slide. Lisa and Olga, who are our startup coaches. They are the reasons the teams sounded so fantastic today. I mean, startups, accelerators always take more credit for the success of startups than they should. The startups are obviously brilliant, but we've been helping them a little bit, and Lisa and Olga have been doing a lot of that work. So thank them. I thank them for running a lot of the mentoring and coaching for accelerator teams. And a few more people I'd like to thank as well. If I can have my next slide. All right. So this is our community of supporters. These are mentors who have been helping: Daniel, David, Chris, Kylie Fraser, Hugh Stevens. You can see all the names on the list. It really does take a village to really raise these startups, and this community is essential. So I want to thank all the mentors in our program who give back their time pro bono to mentor and coach our startups, and they're from all different industries in the startup sector. I used to hate when people call it startup sector. I'm like, it's not a sector, but it has become now. So we've got brilliant people. And I think there's just one last round of people I need to thank as well, Eleanor. All right. So special thank you to these mentors who have really given a lot of time. Nathan Murphy, teaching our teams how to do SEO. He was our entrepreneur in residence as well a couple of years ago. Hugh Stevens, Isaac Jeffries, who runs our work integrated learning program. Matt McFarlane, who's the CEO of Isotana. Dan Steen, Kaya Untitled, and Tim Clark, Leo True, Annie Macaulay, and Will McKenna. Thank you. You've mentored our teams and you've reached out to them and spent a lot of time one-on-one. So that's all my thank yous. It's 8 o'clock on the dot. Now, after party. I'm going to be there. There are going to be dance classes. It is going to be excellent. And there are performances from Amrita and Saibjot and our stand-up comedian, Oriella, who have all been here during the event. So meet me over there. Diletta's going to post the link in the event chat so you know where to go. You have to quickly register. You can also buy things during the event. So remember the startup, it was Lemonade that pitched. You can buy stuff. Unfortunately, food and drinks are now sold out, but you can still, I'm pretty sure you can still order them and get them delivered next week. But you can order pillows and you can order face masks, which mine arrived today, handmade by international students here and founded by a Deakin alumna, Ritika. So you can order these as well to support them. So meet me at the after party.
Yes. Floral Restrict is the name on Instagram for the masks. If you want one of those. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're great. You're great at modeling. Forget the comedy. You can work that. So I'm going to be heading over to the after party as well. I've handpicked my friend Aurelia to do the comedy for you so you don't have to put up with me and this funky thing anymore. So thank you so much for attending and participating in the polls. Keep the Instagram posts coming. I'm at Annie Louey. Follow SPARK Deakin as well. Wow, that's amazing, Daisy. Thank you, Diletta, and everybody else who has been with us. And there's no winner, by the way. There's no winner of the pitches because everybody has won. So if you think that you want to support them and make them like even greater winners in your eyes, go to their websites and purchase their product, donate, do everything that you can, basically. So thanks again. All right. See you on Lemonade. Bye-bye.